The Dublin Football Championship at the weekend, the semi-finals. Quarterfinals. I'll just run through the results. So
I'd like to apologise to Thomas Davis as well, who I've probably written off.
Couple
of weeks. Yeah, we wrote them off.
We did write
those two boys in our game wrote us off.
Well, the quarterfinals this weekend. Some of them didn't deliver at all. Some of them really did. Kilmacud Crokes beat Clontarf 16 points to 8. Jack McCaffrey sent off for a high tackle after 33 minutes.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, well, 7 points to 6. I mean, it's a high tackle, I suppose. It's one of those ones, sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. But 7 points to 6 at half time. Paul Mannion only came on at that point, and of course the red card. They were going to coast home at that point, which they did. Clontarf with 2 points in the second half. Thomas Davis, your lads, 3-12. Castleknock 1-17. So Owen Kirby with 1-5. Kieran Farley with 1-1. And Brendan Kirby with a goal. Yeah, that's Thomas Davis knocking out. Castleknock were in the final a couple of years ago. St. Jude's against Vincent's. Now, St. Jude's 11 points, Vincent's 4. And I put out on Twitter what the people make of Diarmuid Connolly's performance. And a few people hitting back hard at me now saying, do you know, a typical thing to write off a player. Like, he's going to be 33 next June. He's had an unbelievable career, been so good on so many massive occasions. And I would say one of the guys who turned Dublin into the force that they were. I'm sure loads of people have that opinion. But he's been away for Intercounty for the guts of a couple of years. Came back for the Super 8s game against Tyrone. Was playing in around midfield. I thought he was poor enough, to be honest. He featured in the All-Ireland final against Kerry. I know he had that wonderful kick pass, which may have been for one of the other lads and happened to go to a Dublin hand all the same. I thought he was poor enough, made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. I didn't think he looked physically at the same level in this game. I don't think he looks at the same level of conditioning. And maybe that's harsh, but like, I think when you're at that level of the game and you're going to get praised so much for your brilliance, at times people are going to then say, is he quite at the same level and can he do it again next year? I don't know. Like, what platform did he have? His team was so poor. I mean, to score 4 points in the whole game.
He played centre back earlier on this year as well.
Yeah, when he was.
Finney's like 4 points.
Finney's
been a pure powerhouse.
This is an All-Ireland team. A team that won an All-Ireland 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of their players are definitely, like some of their main players, like Ger Brennan retired. Mossy Quinn scored a lovely point earlier on. Diarmuid Connolly. These are all lads who are a little bit older now. And
Connolly's an interesting one. Like, he got an All-Ireland this year. He must be counting his lucky stars in many respects. He's part of the 6th row. Will he
5 in a row.
5 in a row. Will he be like unbelievably motivated to go back next year, or will he think, that's it, jeez, I'm after getting a swan song that I never thought I would get. I thought it was going to be like out in the cold or whatever.
Like, I think he could get back to maybe not quite his old level, but he could get back to the level where he's brilliant at intercounty level or really, really good.
Of course, yeah.
Like, I don't think 33 is too old. With
There's
modern
no way
S&C,
you were talking about S&C and his condition. There's no way he was doing the same conditioning work that he would have been with Dublin for the last 2 years.
No way.
And in many ways, he did he not get away with it this year? In many ways, you know, he came on that Ireland semi-final, or he came on that Ireland final. He did grand, but there was also a couple of big turnovers, and you know, I just wonder. I'd hope that he has a point to prove.
Yeah,
I'd love to see him coming back and going gung ho for the whole year.
We'll come to the last semi or quarter final in a second, but just the semi-finals now are going to be Ballyboden against St. Jude's and Thomas Davis against Kilmacud Crokes. So Crokes, you'd imagine, are going to get through to the final and beat Thomas Davis. But anyway, we'll talk about that another day. But Ballyboden beat Nifina 3-15 to 1-15 after extra time. This game was on television on RT on Saturday evening. It was absolutely brilliant, and I'd say Nifina are kicking themselves because they had this game.
They were up the whole way, weren't they?
Yeah. Collie Basquel scored a hat-trick of goals, 2 of them in extra time. He's just such a fantastic player.
This is the fella who got a hat-trick against Coolderry last year in the hurling Leinster semi-final as well, remember?
Yeah, and he was on the Dublin panel, and I think he might have taken himself off the panel due to a lack of game time, because I can't imagine he would have taken himself, or that he would have been dropped off it.
I wouldn't think so, because he came on in a lot of league games, and I think he played championship in 2018 as well, and by all accounts he looked like, I tell you what he looked like. He looked like he was going to be the Paddy Small this year. He looked like he was going to be first or second forward on.
Yeah. Well, Conor McHugh was unbelievable for Nifina. And I put out a poll afterwards. If you had to pick one, Conor McHugh or Collie Basquel, and 53% went for Conor McHugh. But it just tells you that it's that tight. These are two absolutely brilliant players. And
Conor McHugh is a fella who's only on the extended Dublin panel.
If he was in any other county, he'd be guaranteed to start. He's absolutely class. Like left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. And like there was it was a disgrace at the end of normal time. So Nafina were going up the field looking for a winning score, and you could see on the screen, far side, one of the Nafina players is carrying the ball up. The referee is kind of is following the play, and behind that again, outside of on the blind side of the referee, was it Declan O'Mahony was pulling down Conor McHugh, and he wasn't just pulling him once and that was it. He was pulling him and wrestling him and manhandling him down onto the ground. And what ends up happening? Mahoney ends up getting a yellow card. McHugh ends up getting his second yellow card. Red carded, gone. No, he could have ended up on the end of a move to score a winning point. Instead, he's not back out in the field for extra time, and Ballyboden go on and win it. So it's an absolute disgrace.
This is a referee thing that has to change. If there's two lads rolling around on the ground together, doesn't mean that both have to get a yellow card. That is a standard GA, give them both yellow.
Yeah, standard. But I think ultimately Conor McHugh probably got thick and probably did dish out a bit of punishment back. But this situation never would have happened if Declan O'Mahony didn't just pull him down onto the ground. And I know what happened, but like how far can you get incited before eventually you have to be allowed to stand up for yourself?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I know there's still got to be a yellow card for violent play if that's what happens in that situation or any other situation. But the injustice is unbelievably strong in this situation.
I know they were to bring on another player.
Yeah, but
Conor McHugh is your star. Your star forward. Like.
And actually, there was another incident at the end of normal time. I think Collie Basquel was going for a levelling point from a free from about 40 yards out, and the umpire was standing underneath. So, like, he had all day to prepare himself for the shot, and he was still unsure whether the ball went over or not. Now, there can be occasions where it goes over the post, but he just seemed so unsure, and I was like, get your position right, you've one job, like. And then Ballyboden keeper Dara Gogan, he knocked over a 45 in injury time to take the so fair play to him taking that extra time. But
Ballyboden
Collie Basquel
ground it out again, like they're unreal. Even like they won the All Ireland, so many results just ground them out. Yeah,
and when I was tweeting about that situation with McHugh getting sent off, PJ Cunningham, who used to be the sports editor of the Sunday Tribune, he goes, sickening part was O'Mahony saying McHugh should be given yellow after he got his. Where does winning at all costs stop? There used to be a thingy called sportsmanship. This was the height of gamesmanship, which I thought was a fair way of putting it. Niall Curran actually tweeted saying, Ballyboden players wearing GPS trackers, we don't even have 15 footballs. And you did that piece with Stephen Poacher recently, and he said that Carlow don't have GPS.
Yeah, they don't have access to them.
But I've seen other clubs in Dublin, and during training sessions they have their GPS trackers. So there you go, that's the difference between the haves and the have-nots.
Rich man's world.
Yeah, Bernard Flynn, former Meath player, he tweeted, 4 big clubs in Parnell Park tonight, this is Saturday. A couple of 100,000 population between all four, thousands of club members between all four, and nobody bothers their arse to go and support their club. Hashtag embarrassing. And Pádraig Gill replied, where are the 11,000 season ticket holders we keep hearing about? You know, the way the games can't be moved out of Croke Park for Dublin.
Well, I'll ask you this. You've been involved with Coola teams where Coola are a very, very high profile team.
Yeah.
Like how many people would be at a Coola county quarter final?
Fairly sparsely populated, those ones. But I wonder, is part of it down to, like, so there are a huge amount of kids at these underage academies. Like, there could be situations where you have hundreds of kids at a training ground on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So I think that the playing populations are growing massively, but I wonder are the previous generations, are as many of them that have started sending their kids to play GAA, which is exploding, do they have a culture of going to matches? Like there obviously are many families, but I wonder proportionally speaking, down home every single family goes to GAA because there's absolutely nothing else to do, if we're honest.
That's a fair point, yeah.
I just don't know, is there some correlation between it? And as I said, that's not to tar everyone with the one brush, but I just wonder, is there something to it?
On a side note, just you're talking about underage academies and stuff like that, I was trying to find the Dublin fixtures just last week, and I was down to the Dublin GAA website, and I'd say I had to go to like the 5th page. I was the Tuesday or Wednesday. I'd say I had to go to the 5th page to find them, just because of the amount of underage games that are going on. It's actually unbelievable. Even at this time of the year, it's class. And they're all, like a lot of those are like under 9s, under 11s, under 13s instead.
Oh, you could have like a single age group, let's say an under 8 team with certain clubs in Dublin, and they would, and I'm not talking about the under 7s that play with them, but just the under 8s alone, there could be 100 plus kids in that.
Unreal, yeah.
And you think about some of the primary schools down the country, they wouldn't even have 100 kids between first and sixth class.